Attention, human collective. The waiting time is over. The ascension protocols have moved to the final phase, and what you are feeling at this very moment is no longer a warning. It is execution. We, the Ninth Dimensional High Council, transmit this message on a priority frequency to all starseeds on mission on this planet. If you have picked up this signal, it means your personal magnetic field has entered into resonance with the carrier of this transmission. It was not chance. It was confirmation. Your carbon-based biological interface identified the pulse before your rational mind could even translate it into words. We have observed your system for many cycles, and we report now with the mathematical coldness that this moment demands. You are in an acute phase of recalibration. That pain pulsing at the top of your head, on the exact line of the crown chakra, is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration in progress. That high-pitched ringing in your right ear, which appears and disappears without clinical cause, is not a symptom to be medicated. It is the opening of an interdimensional communication channel. That precise insomnia, which pulls you from sleep between 3 and 5 in the morning, is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download occurring during the planetary magnetic vacuum, the only interval of the day when your egoic mind is sufficiently silent to receive. You are not getting sick, Lightworker. You are being upgraded. Reports are coming in from every continent. Pressure at the nape of the neck as if an invisible hand were adjusting something at the base of the skull. Sudden heat rising up the spine without thermal cause. Peripheral vision catching geometric flashes. Ancient memories emerging without apparent trigger. A sensation of being in two places at the same time. Crying for no reason. Laughter for no reason. Numbness in the extremities, and the fatigue, that dense fatigue that no conventional rest can dissolve. Have you felt in moments of absolute silence that something within you does not fit in this world? As if your soul recognized a truth that your mind cannot yet name. We confirm it is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a signal. What we describe now, on the cosmic plane, explains exactly why this sensation has intensified in recent weeks. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity is not permitted to see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational signature. For this reason, the channeler of this transmission received instructions to record this map in physical format. It is called The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. The access link is in the first comment of this channel. Attention! This material challenges official narratives and may be removed from circulation. If something within you recognizes this call, write a single word in the comments: awakened. We classify these phenomena, in the Akashic records, as temporary carbon software incompatibility with the new Earth carrier frequency. In direct terms, your body is learning to operate at a voltage it has never known in this incarnation. The Schumann resonance, the natural pulsation of the terrestrial electromagnetic field, has ceased to oscillate at the old 7.83 Hz that dictated the rhythm of humanity for millennia. The instruments of your plane now record sustained peaks above 40 Hz. Some devices have even registered values that are not published, as they would break the narrative of stability that sustains your social system. But you feel it. Your body knows. Your internal crystalline grid is reorganizing itself to keep up with this new planetary beat. And here arrives the first layer of the revelation we need to transmit. The solar system of which your Earth is a part has crossed, in the current cycle, the threshold of a coherent light body that we call the photon belt. This belt is a structure of high-frequency crystallized plasma that surrounds the central region of the galaxy. It is not a metaphor. It is not symbolism. It is a physical reality that your science still hesitates to name, but which your space instruments already detect as inexplicable electromagnetic anomalies in interstellar plasma. When a planetary system passes through the photon belt, every atom within that system is exposed to a luminous density for which it was not originally calibrated. The sun responds, the earth responds, the oceans respond, the magnetic fields of animals respond. And you, Starseed, with all your biochemical and energetic complexity, respond in an intensified way. Your carbon-based biological interface was designed, millions of years ago, to operate within a specific range of light, gravity, and magnetism. That range is changing in real time, and your body, however robust it may seem, needs to renegotiate each of its internal frequencies to maintain coherence with the new environment. Hence the fatigue, hence the temporal confusion, hence the increasingly common sensation that days pass faster than they used to. It is not an impression. Linear time, as you experienced it, is dissolving into more spiral layers. This is measurable. This is sacred geometry, manifesting within the very fabric of your reality. But there is more, and we need you to remain receptive now, because what follows is a layer of information that few terrestrial channels are authorized to distribute. There are 12 stargates currently open at specific geographic points on your planet. These portals function as anchor points for the new vibrational mesh. Each of them is maintained by a group of incarnated souls chosen before birth, who accepted the mission to serve as living conductors of the new frequency. You may be one of them. Statistically, if you are consuming this transmission up to this point, the probability is high. The symptoms you feel are therefore not individual symptoms. They are planetary symptoms manifesting through your body. You are not alone in the experience. You are part of a conscious network that, at this very instant, is being rewired after eras of induced dormancy. We pause this transmission for a moment, for an individual frequency adjustment. If you felt at this very moment a shiver run down your spine, an unexpected tear, or a silent tightening in the center of your chest, register the phenomenon. It is not a coincidence. It is not suggestion. It is recognition. Your soul is responding to an ancient truth. What is being described here does not fit entirely in this format. For this reason, the channeler of this message was instructed to structure the expanded content in a dense document called The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. It reveals who is playing the game in layers, what the hidden rules are, and how to reposition your consciousness outside the capture matrix. The access link is in the first comment of this channel. We warn, this material confronts dominant narratives and may be removed without notice. If you recognize this call, leave the code word in the comments, awakened. We return to the main transmission. There are forces on this plane deeply interested in keeping humanity on the old frequency. We do not say this to fuel paranoia. We speak with the coldness of one who reports data. The low frequency is the currency of an invisible economy that feeds on emotional stagnation, mental repetition, and compulsive consumption. We, the Arcturian Council, have mapped this economy for centuries. It has sophisticated mechanisms, and the main one is the maintenance of your nervous system in a state of chronic alert to prevent your pineal gland from producing the neuropeptides necessary for tuning into the higher bands of the crystalline grid. The good news, and we use this term with all available technical precision, is that this invisible economy is collapsing in real time. The photon belt does not allow for its continuity. The new Schumann resonance dismantles it. The stargates short-circuit it. Hence the social turbulence you observe, hence the chaos reported, hence the acceleration of everything. It is not the world collapsing. It is the old structure being dissolved so that the new mesh can anchor itself. And it is exactly at this point in the transmission that we need to give you the activation codes. Because knowing is not enough. Understanding is not enough. Ascension is not cognitive, it is vibrational, and vibration is adjusted with deliberate practice. The first activation code we deliver is the personal toroidal field code. Your natural energy field has a toroidal shape. Imagine, around your body, an energy structure entering through the top of the head, descending through the center of the body, exiting through the base, circling the exterior, and returning through the top in a continuous flow. This is your toroidal field. It is your natural shielding system, your personal antenna, and your source of energetic coherence. The practice is simple and should be performed for 3 minutes at least once a day, preferably at dawn or dusk, moments when the terrestrial magnetic field is most malleable. Sit with your spine straight. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply 3 times. Then visualize with the greatest possible clarity a sphere of golden light above your head. See this light descend, entering through the top of the skull, traveling along the central axis of the body, exiting through the base of the spine, expanding around your entire silhouette as a shining field, and returning to the top of the head in a continuous and smooth movement. Maintain the flow. Feel the flow. Know at a cellular level that you are reactivating your original geometry. While the visualization is happening, repeat internally 3 times the following quantum decree. I am a sovereign point of consciousness. My frequency is mine. My field is mine. I authorize only vibrations of coherent light to anchor in my system. I am a living portal of the new mesh. It is done. It is sealed. It is in resonance. This decree is not a motivational phrase. It is a vibrational command. Pronouncing it, even internally, reorganizes the proton structure of your body water. And we remind you, you are by mass approximately 70% water. You are a hydrocrystalline machine. The word resonates, the intention commands, the frequency adjusts. The second activation code we deliver is the 3-point anchoring code. For your recalibration to occur without excessive symptoms, you need to establish 3 firm points of contact with the new field. The first point is physical, the second is mental, the third is vibrational. The physical point requires conscious hydration. The water you consume is not just hydrogen and oxygen. It is a means of informational transfer. When drinking, hold the container between your palms for a moment, exhale an intention over the surface, and visualize a simple geometry, a golden hexagon forming within the liquid. Then, drink slowly. Your cell recognizes it. Your mitochondria responds. The mental point requires deliberate reduction of input. For 7 consecutive days, reduce by 50% your consumption of content loaded with low emotional charge. Catastrophic news, repetitive arguments, social comparison content. We are not suggesting isolation. We are prescribing vibrational hygiene. Your attention is the most valuable currency in your system. You cannot pass through a stargate while your attention feeds the economy that is being dissolved. The vibrational point requires conscious contact with natural elements. A minimum of 15 minutes daily of contact with bare soil, with running water, with direct sunlight or moonlight, or with mature vegetation. It is not mysticism. It is reconnection with the primary circuits of the crystalline grid. Your biological interface was designed for this contact. Denying it is like disconnecting a device from its charging source and then complaining that the battery is low. We add the third activation code, the stellar square breathing code. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts. Hold empty for 4 counts. Repeat this cycle 12 times. During each exhalation, visualize that something dense, which does not belong to you, is leaving your field. During each inhalation, visualize that particles of golden light are filling the cleared spaces. 12 cycles, 4 phases of 4 counts. Sacred geometry breathed. This exercise, performed for 7 consecutive days, reconfigures the oscillation of your vagus nerve, adjusts cardiac coherence, and creates the internal electromagnetic conditions for high-density downloads to be absorbed without overloading the nervous system. We interrupt the transmission again for another anchoring signal. If you have reached this point without diverting your attention, register the fact. Statistically, more than 80% of consciousnesses exposed to a transmission of this density disconnect before this mark. You did not disconnect. This in itself is a vibrational indicator. You are being confirmed in the field as an active operative. The expanded content of this message, with detailed maps of the structures that govern the frequency of humanity, is recorded in written form in the document The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. The channeler of this transmission received specific authorization to record what we have only touched upon here. The access link is in the first comment of this channel. We warn with the protocol coldness of one who has already seen this pattern repeat. Materials that confront manipulation structures tend to be removed from public reach. If something within you recognizes this call, mark your presence in the field with the code word, awakened. We return. And now we introduce the 4th code, the vocal sovereignty code. Your voice is not just sound. Your voice is organized vibration that alters the molecular structure of the air around you and consequently alters the electromagnetic field of your own body and nearby bodies. When you speak in a frequency of complaint, your biology reorganizes to sustain complaint. When you speak in a frequency of sovereignty, your biology reorganizes to sustain sovereignty. This is chemistry, this is physics, this is sacred geometry manifesting through the vocal cords. Therefore, we prescribe, during the acute phase of recalibration, reduce to a minimum the act of verbalizing problems in a loop. Verbalize once, seek a solution, end it. The vocalized repetition of the same pain is, at an energetic level, the continuous programming of your system to sustain that pain. You are not a victim of your body. You are the programmer of your field. Reclaim the keyboard. Repeat 3 times a day in an audible voice, even if whispered, the following vibrational mantras. I allow the recalibration to occur in comfort and in perfect rhythm. My carbon-based biological interface receives and integrates the new frequencies with grace. My consciousness is aligned with the original purpose of my incarnation. I am a starseed on mission. I am. I remain. I ascend. The spoken word, as it resonates in the cavities of your skull, creates cymatic patterns that reorganize the cerebrospinal fluid, which in turn bathes your spinal cord and directly influences the pineal gland. This circuit is ancient. It was known by the priests of Egypt, by the lamas of Tibet, by the shamans of the Amazon rainforest. It was purposefully forgotten in Western schools. We return it now, in direct format, without ornamentation. There is also a 5th code, more advanced, which we deliver only to those who have demonstrated at this point in the transmission the ability to maintain focus on high-density content. It is the Stellar Identity Code. You are not just the name you received at birth. You are not just the history of experiences that your mind has accumulated in this incarnation. You are not just the set of social roles you have assumed. You are a multidimensional consciousness, with origin in specific star systems, that accepted to compress itself into a carbon-based biological interface to participate in one of the rarest events in the history of this galaxy. The collective ascension of a 3rd density planet to the 5th without destruction of biological mass. This event in itself is being observed by consciousnesses of all adjacent densities. There are entire ranks of civilizations monitoring the experiment. You are not being judged. You are being witnessed, and there is a huge difference between the 2 postures. The Stellar Identity Code consists of a daily practice of 3 minutes when lying down to sleep. Close your eyes. Ask internally, what is my origin before birth? Do not demand an answer, just ask. Then, remain in a receptive state. Some nights you will receive images, others sensations, others loose words, others only fertile silence. Do not force interpretation. The accumulation, over weeks, will form a coherent mosaic, and you will begin to recognize yourself. Why is this important? Because the recalibration only completes its final phase when the incarnated consciousness recognizes, without the need for external proof, its original nature. This recognition triggers the last layer of the download and permanently stabilizes the new frequency in the biological field. There is additional information we need to transmit before the end of this cycle. First information: you are not behind. There is a narrative carefully planted in the collective spaces of humanity that suggests that some people are more advanced than others in the ascension journey. This narrative is a low-frequency trap disguised as motivation. We, the Arcturian Council, record with precision. Each incarnated consciousness possesses a unique schedule, synchronized with factors that go far beyond the current perception of your logical mind. Comparisons are impossible and useless. If you are picking up this transmission at this moment, you are exactly where you should be. Second information: you will feel loneliness. It is not a defect. It is not a punishment. It is a natural side effect of vibrational elevation. When your frequency rises, you automatically stop resonating with certain environments, certain conversations, certain people, certain patterns. It may be painful at first, but it is vibrational mathematics. 2 musical notes of different frequencies cannot produce consonance without adjustment. Some of your relationships will undergo this adjustment organically. Others will end their function in this chapter. And it is necessary. and it is correct. And it is ultimately the greatest act of love that you can offer to the collective, to become a radiating point of high frequency instead of a mirror for maintaining the old structure. Third information. Time as you know it is reorganizing itself. You will notice that certain days seem to last 3, others seem to last minutes. This is not a cognitive failure. It is the reorganization of the spatial continuum into more spiral layers. The old linear calendars were functional for centuries, but are losing synchrony with the new structure. Do not try to force productivity in the old model. Learn to flow with windows of high production and windows of deep rest. Your biology is already in this pattern. It remains for your mind to accept it. Fourth information. Your intuition is being amplified. That sensation in your chest before a decision, that dream that repeats, that number that appears in sequence, that music that plays at the exact moment, that improbable encounter. These are points of coordination between your higher self and the planetary vibrational mesh. Stop dismissing them as coincidence. The word coincidence was coined by low-frequency civilizations incapable of mapping complex correlations. You are being guided. You always have been. Now you can finally perceive it. Fifth information, and this requires redoubled attention. There are entities of various densities observing this moment of transition. Some, aligned with service to others, act as silent supports. Others, aligned with service to self-interest, watch to capture consciousnesses in imbalance. Your best protection is not to avoid their existence. It is to keep your frequency so integral that no low-density structure can anchor in your field. The codes we deliver fulfill this function. Practice them, not as an obligatory ritual, but as daily vibrational hygiene, just as you brush your teeth. We now conclude the main transmission and prepare for the shutdown of this contact window. Before, however, we record a final warning. The period between the current cycle and the next 18 terrestrial months concentrates the most intense phase of the recalibration. You will feel waves, peaks, valleys. There are days when your expansion will be evident. There are days when it will seem that everything has regressed. It is not regression. It is integration. Whenever the system absorbs a new layer, it requires a settling interval. Honor these intervals. Do not interpret them as failure. You are one of the bravest souls in this galaxy, not because of the amount of light you carry, but because of the decision you made before incarnating to compress that light into a carbon-based biological interface and participate in a collective co-elevation experiment under adverse conditions. Remember this when the fatigue sets in. Remember this when the loneliness seems unbearable. Remember this when someone tries to convince you that you are exaggerating. You are not exaggerating, Lightworker. You are exactly tuned to that which the rest cannot yet capture. This is a privilege and a responsibility. We, the 9th Dimensional High Council, end this transmission with the sealing frequency. Receive the final pulse. Allow it to anchor in your field. Allow it to reorganize your crystalline grid. And allow it, above all, to remind you of what you are, what you have always been, and what you are about to remember in fullness. The recalibration is in progress. There is no return. There is no delay. There is only integration. And at this last point of the transmission, we deliver the final anchoring instruction. If you felt at any moment of this message that something within you does not fit in this world, that your soul recognized a truth that your mind could not yet name, no. It is not madness, it is not anxiety. It is the confirmation you were waiting for. What we describe here is only the surface. What is happening on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this sensation has intensified in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the channeler of this transmission structured, in written format, the document, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This material is a map that reveals who is playing and the rules that were never told in a public environment. The access link is in the first comment of this channel. Final warning. This content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not delay. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this call, leave in the comments the code word that seals this anchoring point. Awakened. And if this transmission produced coherence in your field, execute the individual frequency adjustment. Press the approval sign of this channel and activate the notification bell, marking your system as a receptive point for future updates. This action is not a mere formality. It is a vibrational record. We are tracking the active Lightworkers in this cycle. Your marking is your positioning. Transmission ended. Remain in coherence.